Most gym owners think that when they are running their advertising or trying to get clients and they get a lead, then they have to take that lead and immediately close them. But what a lot of gym owners don't realize is even if they do sell that lead, then another sales cycle opens up, such as increasing the order value or the amount of times they're purchasing with you or their retention, or are you able to extract referrals from that initial lead? And then also, if you get a lead and it doesn't close, then now another question opens up, another sales cycle opens up, such as, okay, are we able to now take that lead that's in our database and eventually get them to purchase with us? So today we're going to be talking about how to just simply multiply the effects of your advertising that you're currently doing to just simply make more cash in your gym. We're going to be going over average order value, frequency, the retention at your gym, and referrals, and just simply how we can multiply the effects of how you're getting leads to just simply put a multiplier on everything you're doing and just simply make more cash.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, a lot of people, when it comes to marketing with their gym, they're focused on finding more or new ways to get clients, either with, for example, ads, outbound, flyers, promotions, stuff like that. One of my mentors first said to me when I was first starting my business is he said, it's always easier to sell to people who've already bought your solution rather than people who don't know anything about you. Okay? And that's kind of what the thesis of what we're going to be talking about today is simply just how to attract more people from what you already have in a sense, multiplying the effects of your advertising or whatever thing you're currently doing to just simply get more return on investment, okay? So we're going to focus on your foundational drivers, which makes up your business, such as average order value, so the amount of money people are spending with you, the amount of time frame between how many or when people buy with you, the retention, and then referrals, which are all multipliers that will directly determine how much you will make from each new customer. So when each of these drivers increase, they stack up on top of each other and then simply just create exponential results. So your return on investment is very simple. It's just based off of it's a multiple of these different factors. Okay, so how much people are spending with you, how often they're spending with you, how long they're spending it with you, and then are you able to extract external revenue, not specifically just from those specific clients. Okay, so instead of just relying solely on always getting new cold people in your door who don't know about you, okay, we can grow exponentially by improving our systems behind each of these drivers. Okay, so let's jump into number one, which is how to pretty much increase your average value per sale. So there's pretty much only there's only one strategy really to do this. It's pretty straightforward. Like you just have to increase your prices. Like it's pretty straightforward. So to increase the value per sale, you just have to increase the amount of money you're charging them, which is the first thing you have to understand. Pretty simple. But how do you do that in the most effective way so that people are not feeling like ripped off, where you're still providing good value for them, etc.? So this is where you can just simply get into bundling. Okay, so just simply bundling things together, like, instead of just doing a basic $99 a month and you get access to X, Y, and Z, okay, try to look at alternative ways where you can throw in, access and then, a personal training session or a free consultation if it's this much, or you get a nutrition plan for free included with this whatever. And the way you do this is going to be largely dependent on how you frame it, okay? So for example, let's say, your base is $99 per month, okay? You can say, hey, listen, John's in for a free tour of the gym. You can say, hey, John, instead of paying $99 a month to get you access to the gym, I'm sure you're going to do great with that. But instead of $99 a month, if you only pay $50 a month more, you're going to get, 2 personal training check-ins per month with, John, who's our fat loss specialist, and he's going to keep you on track. It's $50 a month, right? So you can kind of use it as a frame and just say hey, you're going to get this for free in a sense, even though it's not free. Hey, it's $150 a month. Basically, we're just throwing this in for free if you pay the $50 more. You can kind of just watch your wording in a sense. And then another strategy I would tell you regarding bundling and this tier package is when you're selling this, if you find, for example, that somebody is let's say, needing a lot more work, meaning like they need to lose 30 pounds or 50 pounds or 100 pounds, and it's like, they've done things horribly wrong their entire life and they need more hands-on help. And you're just understanding this, like when you're talking to them, hey, what are your goals? When you're kind of going through that with them, then you could simply say to them, hey, listen, we have a bunch of different options, but honestly, I think this one's going to work the best for you. And just go right to that instead of giving them like three, where a lot of the times they'll be like, oh, okay, now you gave me three options. Let me know all of the details of those three. And then now let me take this home and think about it. And now you have people in like a comparison and like they're weighing out the pros and cons rather than just giving them one right there that you think would work best for them using your expert opinion. And then they jump on it right there. Okay. So there's a bunch of ways to do increasing your order value per sale. But all in all, you need to do this. Okay. So people compare vertically. So if the top tier looks loaded, mid tier looks reasonable. So the goal here is to make people feel stupid to say no to higher offers. So to do this, you should be raising the perceived value 10 times faster than the cost of each tier. So you should, obviously, this is where, like I said, framing and status, framing, salesmanship, all that sort of stuff. Okay. But all in all, only even if 20% of people buy the premium solution, okay, your average order value rises 30 to 50%. Okay. So it's a 5x value multiple, which is crazy. Okay. Just looking at statistics there. So include that, just, get 30 to 50% more, for example, revenue, and just go, relax a little bit. Okay. Tactic number 2 is pre-sale packages. So on top of selling monthly rates / pay-as-you-go sessions, offer a full transformation as a package and sell it up front at a discount. So pretty much all you're doing is like, instead of selling like, hey, it's $100 a session, just try to sell as much as you can up front. And it's actually easier to do that up front. It's easier to sell higher ticket than it is to sell this lower ticket, in my opinion. I'm going to tell you why. So pretty much this lets you compress time by getting customers to pay sooner for what they'd buy later. It also rewards commitment by the customer for paying in full rather than punishing them for paying for time. Okay. So in a sense, what you're doing is, if the transformation, that people are wanting is, let's say that John comes in, he wants to lose 20 pounds and it takes him 4 months. Let's say with your expert opinion, it's going to take him 4 months, 16 weeks to lose this 20 pounds. So you're going to say, okay, instead of it $249 per month for 4 months, which is $996, they can get 4 months for $799 if they take action now. Okay, so you can kind of just simply play with that and incentivize them logically to pay upfront. Okay, and this is the thing, a lot of people aren't going to do that because in the back of their mind they know that, oh shoot, oh my god, blah blah blah. They want an out in a sense, and they know that maybe there's a small chance that they won't like it or something happens and they want to cancel and they don't want that obligation. Okay. But when I say it's easier to sell higher ticket, this $800 a month or $800 up front, okay, you want to frame it not as if they're paying $249 per month for 4 months. It's usually $996, but I'm going to offer it to you for $200 less. What you're going to tell them is you're going to say, hey, listen, we have a lot of different packages here. In order for you to achieve this 20 pounds, we need at least 4 months. Okay. A lot of people don't really understand how much work it takes to lose 20 pounds. It does take a lot of work. It does take a lot of effort. And I'm going to need that effort and sacrifice commitment from you right here. Okay. If you're expecting this to be easy, I'm sorry, it's not. It's going to be a lot of work. Okay. So if you want to lose that 20 pounds, I can help you, but it's going to be that 4-month commitment. Does that make sense? And then you're going to kind of frame it. How you're doing this is you're disqualifying and you're telling them it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. You're going to want to cheat. You're probably going to cheat, but I'm going to keep you on track and you're going to have to be committed to this. And I'm going to need you to commit for the next 4 months to this process in order for you to see success. If you commit to 1 month, you're not going to get success. Okay. And then you're going to kind of disqualify in a sense to get them to be like, okay, yeah, that's right. This is not a scam. This feels legit. He is kind of like telling me the truth that it's going to take 4 months. This is not some crazy super take a magic pill sort of thing. It is going to be hard work. Okay, cool. Let's commit. And you just push them towards that one option, like I said, instead of like whatever. And on top of that, once you get through that and did what I just told you, then you can say, hey, usually for the 4 months, it's $996. But what I could do is because you're a great guy, usually what I say is like, because you got a great smile, you got great hair, you got great fashion, just pick something that they're that is describing them. It'll make them giggle, whatever, haha. I'll bump off 200 if you I'll bump off 200 if you just pay the full right now. Sound good? Cool. Boom. And then you just go right there. What card do you want to put that on? And then just move forward. Okay? So even simpler example, it's $15, but it's $10 if you prepay. You save $5, and that's what most people choose. Okay? So what it means for you when customers pay up front, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, you just simply get obviously more revenue up front. That attracts higher quality prospects, meaning people who are going to understand it takes time, it takes commitment. They're not going to be super demanding. I always find the people who are haggling you on price or, hey, $100 this way or $50 this way, they're the sort of people who are going to be constantly blowing up your phone if you're a personal trainer. They're going to constantly be asking questions. They're going to constantly be kind of up your ass in a sense. So the higher paying clients are usually people who are more trustworthy in a sense, so they're less nagging. So that's more committed clients. Once you have more committed clients, decreased churn, that means there's more money left for the marketing and the back end of your systems. And then once there's more money, you have better client fulfillment because you can reinvest into your facility, into your process, into marketing, into whatever. And then now once you have a better system, you get better results. And then once you have better results, you have more case studies, more testimonials, more before and afters to then leverage that to get more clients and more people to pay up front. So it's a positive flywheel. Okay, cool. Tactic number 3 is use commitment anchors. So another way to drive upfront sales without packaging full transformations is by using commitment anchors. Okay, it follows the same principle of rewarding customers for commitment, but instead of packaging a full transformation, it's built directly into how you price your memberships. Okay, so instead of month to month, it's $149. Okay, if you say you get a 6-month commitment, and I can lock you in at $129 a month. All you're pretty much doing is you are now playing with the amount of time that they choose to, for example, do the process for. Okay, so instead of saying usually like most gym owners, this is the thing. Okay. 99% of gym owners, so if somebody walks into their gym, if you're like a base membership style gym or even personal training, it's just like, hey, this is how much it is per month, or like this is how much it is per session per month or something like that. Okay. And there's nothing else outside of that. Okay. There's no time commitment or like 6-month period. Okay. And they're just kind of burning cash. So what you have to do, because you're a smart gym owner and you're a smart person, smart business owner, okay, is you can use the commitment as an anchor and decrease price and have a higher order value. Okay, so you're pretty much saying, usually month to month, it's $149 a month because I know you're committed to your goals, because I know you want to lose that 30 pounds and you want to get into the best shape of your life from what they told you from that conversation. And it's going to at least take 6 months to get to your goals. I can lock you in for 6 months at a lower rate, at 120, $100 a month or whatever, and 9 times out of 10, that lower price with a longer time frame commitment is going to result in a higher average order value because churn is very high in the gym industry. Okay, and you can play around with this 6 months, 12 months, etc. And with this, what you can do, pro tip, is instead of being the person to finance this yourself, meaning you are bearing, like you obviously have that, they have the 6-month commitment at $129 a month, and you're collecting $129 a month. What you can do if they're locked into 6 months is you can use a third-party financing, meaning you can, for example, use a software called Affirm or Sezzle, Afterpay, Split It, a lot of Klarna, and simply just put in the 129 times 6 months, 774, and then they can pay, you get the full amount up front, and then they can pay to the third-party financing. So there's ways you can kind of do this. I've set a lot of my clients up with third-party financing. There is 0 interest on that as well for 90% of them, especially at low prices like this. Okay, cool. And then tactic number 4 is add high margin upsells. So if your clients are already buying, they are in buying mode. So you have to realize that if somebody is, for example, buying a bicycle, they are most likely to buy a helmet and probably, let's say, some sort of gear to go with their bicycle, or a water bottle extension piece for their bicycle, or new handlebars, or a set of off-roading tires, or something like that. So when people are buying something, there is always a further demand for kind of the thing they're buying, because what they're buying is opening up potentially a set of problems. Okay. So, for example, if somebody is buying access to your gym or personal training, then on top of that, there's going to be, okay, supplementation, okay, coaching add-ons, like software add-ons, like do you have some sort of back-end training thing, okay, some sort of body scan progress tracking, okay, some sort of VIP recovery. And these are just things that I'm like throwing out to you, okay? But you have to think, when somebody's joining, let's say, a gym and doing personal training, now in the back of their mind, they're going to be thinking, okay, I just bought this. Now what other problems would I potentially have to deal with? Okay, I don't know much about supplements. I don't know much about this, or, how to do my form in the gym, or like a bunch of other nuances that are like, could be related to their problem. And when somebody buys something, when somebody buys X thing, psychologically what happens is right before they buy, they're in a state of fear, okay? They're in a state of, I don't know if I should buy this. I'm kind of a little bit not 100%, okay? And then they buy it, okay? Then they get a shot of dopamine. Oh, okay, yes, I bought it, whatever. This goes for like something like as small as $100 versus $5,000. They get a shot of dopamine. And then usually that shot of dopamine carries into them buying something else. Usually it's related to what they buy, but people go through sprints of buying and sprints of saving. So when someone's in buying mode, you have to capitalize on that, because if they're not going to spend the money with you, they're going to spend the money with another business. So you might as well capture the value yourself, okay? So simply, if you just add on supplements, okay, coaching, recovery, whatever, okay, at small incremental revenue increases, you just simply stack up your average order value from, let's say, a mere $800 to around $1,100. And if you stack that up over, 100 or 200 different clients, you're looking at a massive, 30% increase in just simply average order value. Okay. So using monthly recurring upsells is the best, since you're not just boosting average order value once, you're also increasing the frequency at which they purchase. These small recurring add-ons compound over time, keep clients spending consistently months after months. Okay. So please make sure you understand how to have these upsells. And what you can do with upsells regarding this is you can combine a lot of these as well. So what I mean by this is, let's say your core offer is, let's say, $800, okay, and they're buying, 4 months up front of personal training. And then now you're saying supplements, coaching, recovery, and you've already bumped them down for that, let's say, 6 months up front or whatever it was, okay? Now you can say, hey, listen, if you need help with supplements, coaching, recovery, usually it's going to be an extra $300 or $400 up front. What I can do is I can bump you down to this full price, and you get X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3. And then you can just like take a lot of value that you're kind of giving them, and then just say, normally it's this, but I'll bump you down to this if you take action now. And this is the thing that we're incentivizing with order value is you're incentivizing them to take action now. Because future revenue is not promised. People make commitments all the time, 6-month commitment, 12-month commitment, and they don't go through with it. Even if you may have a contract in place, no really legality system. Maybe you can take them to small claims court and they'll help you out with $1,000 contract, but that's not real. Like, that's not going to happen. A contract mostly is in place to scare prospects, in a sense, to understand that, like, oh shit, yeah, maybe if this doesn't go through, or maybe if I don't pay them, then I have to go to court. But like, that's never going to happen. Okay. So you have to collect cash. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the most amount of money up front. That's all we're trying to do. Cool. Okay. So that brings us to point number 2, which is frequency, getting clients to buy more often. So self-explanatory. Okay. So tactic number 1 is sell continuation packages. So the goal of this tactic is to turn clients who paid up front into long-term members once their initial program ends. So when that time comes, give them the option to roll over into a recurring plan, either at a small permanent discount or with added bonuses for staying on. Okay, so how to do it. So sell the upfront package, okay? Before it ends, present the rollover offer with the same pricing logic as before, where they can pay less if they commit longer, if they just commit for longer, okay? So month to month, $149, 6-month commitment, $129, 12-month, at 99. Okay, so to explain this, what I mean is, for example, let's say someone paid 800 for 4 months, and let's say it's month 2.5, month 3-ish, in that range. Okay, you don't want to do this right at the end of their contract or at the end of their 4 months, because most of the time around that you're going to have a lot harder time selling them. So you want to do this around month 2, month 3, somewhere 2/3 is a good mark. And you're going to want to say to them, you're going to say, hey, listen, you have a month left on your process. You're already getting great results. You already paid $800. You have a month left. What I can do is take that, for example, $800 you gave me, divvy it up by 4 months. Okay, you're paying $200 a month technically. I can roll over those extra $400 for the next 2 months, sort of thing. And I can add that to this if you commit to 12 months up front. Okay, so you're basically giving them 10 months, okay, for the price of 12. Or you're giving them 12 months for the price of 10, sorry, did it backwards. And all you're doing, like, is you're just saying, hey, like, I'm giving you 2 free months if you commit now. And usually around this time, they'll get some success. They understand your process. They've met some people. They've kind of have a foothold in your gym. And then it's like, okay, great. Boom, let's do it, right? And you just say, and you throw out the word free. This is what you have to do. Throw out the word free. So you're going to say, hey, listen, you're 2 months in. You owe, like, you have $400 left for your next 2 months or whatever. What I can do is, if you commit now for 12 months, I can give you, I can take the amount of money and just add it on completely free, completely free pro bono for those 12 months, which is at $99 a month, meaning I'll cut off 2 months and you get 2 months free. Even though they've already paid for it, you're just saying free. Okay, makes sense. Cool. Tactic number 2 is reactivation campaigns. So one of the most overlooked ways to get clients to buy more often is to go back to clients who've already bought in the past and re-engage them with targeted reactivation offers. So your cheapest leads are going to be the ones you have already paid for. The people who have already been in your database, who have maybe gotten a couple text messages or a couple phone calls or whatever, okay? So how it works. So this is just a very basic strategy that every gym owner should understand how to do. I have a video on my channel that is probably like 2 years old at this point that talks about how to do this, and like it's a tutorial, so you can go find that on my channel. But all in all, what you're doing is you're pretty much exporting your old member list. So anyone who's canceled, paused, or ghosted, whatever, you're going to send them a message with an incentivized offer to come back, okay? And you're going to add urgency and scarcity, okay? So if you have 500 old clients and reactivate just 10%, that's 50 new paying members with 0 additional ad spend. You're just paying for the cost of sending those text messages, which maybe will be $10, okay? So by doing this, we're leveraging the trust you've already earned and the money you've already spent on ads. So with targeting and with reactivation campaigns, I have a couple clients who have, like, let's say 5,000 or 6,000 people, just because they've been in the industry so long, they've been running ads so long. And I will constantly go back there when sales are slow and send mass text messages, mass SMS with a message basically saying, hey, we're doing, a 30% off discount for the next 10 people who reach out who want to lose weight for the new year. Okay. There are this many spots left for the next 10 days. Go down and click the link, or go down and book a time to come in. Okay. And if I send that to 6,000 people and it's, let's say 5% convert, you can do the math on that. We're getting a ton of people for basically dirt cheap. Cool. Okay, so tactic number 3 is build a seasonal offer calendar. This is another big cheat that you can use. So this tactic is designed to create predictable, repeatable sales events throughout the years so that every quarter you have a fresh reason for people to buy again. Okay, a lot of people wait and push hard in January, then flatline for the rest of the year, but they don't realize that there are so many events that are constantly happening where people are kind of like in a state of maybe like anticipation or fear towards. So for example, let's say in July, people are going to be going out to beaches. They're going to be, in that summer slim down beach sort of mode. So make an offer around that, okay? April, you can do the same thing. Hey, it's springtime. Let's get you shredded for the spring. So then by summer, you're already there, okay? Or by October, hey, let's get you ready for the holidays. Let's get you ready for that beach getaway when you're taking that trip to Mexico, when it's, super duper cold outside, when it's 20, 30 degrees outside. Okay, end of year focus. And you can make different angles around these and make different campaigns, or, relaunch this to your SMS list or etc. and just simply use this and do this. Okay. So run each challenge like a product launch with a start date, a transformation promise, and some urgency behind it. People buy when they're ready, so make sure you're ready when they are. Okay? Cool. And then now we're going to talk about retention. So this is the third kind of factor, and this is just simply keeping clients for a longer time frame. So retention is about stopping the drop-off before it happens. That comes down to a couple things. So better onboarding. Talk about onboarding quite a bit on my channel. I truly believe that if you onboard somebody correctly, then you will be able to achieve a lot higher retention just straight off the jump. So if you're going to put all of your eggs into one basket, I would say that you should put all of your eggs into the onboarding basket, because this is the 80%, this is the 20% of the things that you're going to do that are going to result in 80% of the success. Okay? If you don't onboard somebody correctly, they're going to have false expectations. They're going to think it's a lot easier than it is, and they're going to be just in a skewed mental state. Okay, so for example, if you're, let's say, going on, a run with your friend, okay, a jog, and you're going to run, let's say, 10 kilometers, okay, and you're going to tell this guy, in one scenario, you're going to say, hey, listen, we're going to go on a run, and that's pretty much it. It's going to be pretty straightforward, nothing crazy. When he starts to feel pain and his lungs start getting heavy, he's going to be like, oh, you didn't tell me this, okay? Versus another scenario where you say, hey, listen, we're going to go on a run. It's going to be really difficult. You're going to feel a lot of pain, but that's normal, and you should keep going, and that's completely part of the process. He's going to have a completely different mental state once he experiences the thing you told him he would experience. Okay? So, especially with coaching, when it's very much dependent on them to do the work, then you have to frame it as like the things that are going to stop them from getting success are like, the things that they have to push through, like cheating on their meals, the temptations, the laziness, the whatever. Like, these are normal things, and you have to tell them that these are things you're going to experience. And that also takes the burden off of yourself as the business owner, because now they can't come back and say, oh my God, you're a scammer. You said this is going to be so easy. You just told them the opposite. You said it's going to be hard. Okay? And then you just get people who stay longer because they understand that this is a process. It takes time. Okay? So onboarding is super duper duper important. Okay? Other than that, accountability systems, communication, okay, just basic things to have, like just having a good solid system. Okay? So bringing old clients back is harder than simply keeping them in the first place. So let's focus on avoiding drop-off with the following tactics. So tactic number 1 is front load wins early. So clients quit when they don't win fast enough, which is why our goal is to front load wins early on so clients can see real results before their motivation fades. The faster they feel progress, the longer they'll stay. And this is the thing. People don't need to see, I even wrote this, people don't need the end result right away. They just need proof that it's working, that they're going in the right direction. And that can be 1% or 0.1%. As long as it's somewhat on the pace to achieving that, they will get some sort of dopamine. And that's what we're chasing, the dopamine, to keep them kind of hooked with our process. Okay? So, for example, week 1, quick setup win, drop 3 to 5 pounds of water weight, first personal record, some sort of habit streak, something like that. Dopamine. Week 2, social proof, share client win in group chat or social post. Get some group validation there. Week 3, visible progress, side-by-side photo. Okay, it may be very small, it may be very minute, but they'll notice it because they look at their body more than anyone does, and they'll be like, oh my God, yeah, I do see that little change. Even, I know this sounds weird, but I've even done it before where the 2 photos, in my opinion, basically look the exact same. And I was like, hey, look at this. Don't you see the change? And they'll be like, oh, wow, you're right. I do see. And they'll point something out that I didn't even see. Oh my God, right. My ankles look thinner. That was a huge insecurity of mine, my ankle. Like, and they'll just boom, right there. Okay? And then week 4, measurable milestone. They lost 8 pounds in 30 days. They hit 10 sessions badge. Things like this just to give some dopamine and momentum. So if you can deliver visible progress by week 2, retention past week 8 can increase 2 to 3x. Week 4, I meant. Okay? So early dopamine equals momentum. Visible progress equals belief. And belief equals retention. They have to be bought in at all points, not just in the beginning when they gave you their money. Cool. And tactic number 2 is add accountability touch points. So we want to keep members engaged through consistent communication and accountability systems because silence kills retention. So when clients stop communicating, they're already halfway out the door. We already know this. When clients are just not showing up or not responding to text messages, or you could even tell maybe they're taking a little bit longer to respond to text messages, they're halfway gone. So the goal is to stay in contact before that disengagement happens, and we do this by building predictable touch points where members get checked in, seen, and supported. And this is probably what happens, I want to say 75% of the time when people churn. It's because you're just not communicating with them enough. Okay? If you're a smaller gym, and let's say you have under 40 clients, you should be sending text messages to your clients every other day, and constantly checking in and asking questions. Okay, people just feel like, oh wow, this guy cares about me. And it's not even the fact that you're actually like, maybe like they haven't achieved success yet. It's just like that internal like, oh wow, this guy's actually a good person. Okay, so these can be manual coach calls or automated, but they must be consistent. Okay, so weekly coach check-in every 7 days keeps client accountable and supported. Progress photos you can do bi-weekly. You can do a weekly or monthly group leaderboard. Missed session text, obviously you want to do that as soon as when they miss the session. But this check-in can be done even more than every 7 days. Okay? So using these, we want to create a rhythm and routine that keeps clients focused on their progress and less likely to drop off. The more often you communicate, the longer they'll stay. Just try to remember that. And then tactic number 3 is loyalty incentives and community belonging. So using incentives, we can get members staying longer and buying more often by rewarding consistent participation and referrals. So these rewards act like micro bonuses and increase both retention and frequency. So examples is, for example, 3 challenges completed, they get a free recovery session. This is pretty self-explanatory. You can set these up with your like any sort of incentive that you want to do. You just want to make it that the reward is actually worth something, because a lot of the times, like 99% of the time when gyms do this, is they'll like give away something that is like super like non-valuable. Like it'll be like, hey, here's like a $10 gift card to Starbucks. And like no one cares about that. Like make it something good. I've had clients before like give away like a ton of cash, like $1,000 cash, or like, even more than that, or potentially even like, a $500 gift card, or like something that's actually like, oh my God, I want this. Not like, right? Like something like, okay, not super interested. So that's like the main thing. But if you're doing this, you're going to get people who are like competing for it, and you're going to increase the amount of people in your gym who are like bonding over that healthy competition. And that is a positive flywheel for just people being more committed. So to do so, we use a simple framework every class, right? For personal connections between your coaches and clients, greet everyone by their name. Try to remember names if you can. Praise publicly during sessions for performance. Correct errors privately. Don't do it publicly. And end every session on a high if you can. You can also include things such as checking in with 3 to 5 members daily, celebrating milestones, PRs, streaks, weight loss goals, or even one-to-one outreach for drop-off and prevention. And these things, these rewards, don't have to be something that is like something that people are like it doesn't have to be something that's like given to like one person. You can just throw these in if you think people are doing good. So like, hey, you've been super consistent over the last 3 months. Because you've been so great, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you a bunch of extra free training sessions, or I'm going to give you a free this or whatever. And just like it's not super difficult, and this on average will increase retention by roughly 15 to 20%. Okay, if you're doing this correctly. So another one to keep in the back of your mind. And then tactic number 4 is just simply save at-risk clients. So if you save half the people who try to leave, you just double retention. So you don't lose clients overnight. They signal it at first. They will give you a clear message that they're about to jump and about to jump ship. Okay, your job is to detect the signs and catch cancellations before they happen. And you're going to want to just try to get them on the phone. Okay, this is one thing. Shooting a text message is not going to do anything. You're not going to be able to really resolve or get someone back on your coaching program. If you're like shooting them a long paragraph, most likely people are not going to read it. They're not going to have the same emotional response versus a phone call. So you're going to want to get them on the phone. That's the first step. Okay. So you can send a couple text messages to get their attention so that they know you're like, like you're wondering what's going on. And then you're going to want to just give them a couple different dials throughout the day. If they pick up, then you're going to have a conversation with them, and that's going to be a harder talk. Hey, what's going on? You haven't been showing up. Just wanted to see what's going on. How are you feeling? Oh, I'm not feeling the best. I don't know. They're going to make an excuse. And then you're going to say, hey, listen, I know you've been, not coming to the sessions, whatever, and that's totally fine. But we have to keep in the back of your mind what we're trying to achieve here. John, what are we trying to achieve here? Oh, I want to lose 30 or so pounds. And how far have we come into that? Well, so far I've lost 10 pounds, but in the past 2 weeks since I haven't shown up, I gained back 5. So technically I'm down 5. Okay, John, and is this goal actually still something that's important to you? Or are you kind of at the stage right now where it's like, I don't really care. Like, take it or leave it, 30 pounds, not really interesting. And it's like, oh, well, of course I care. Well, why do you care? Like, what were the initial sort of intentions to you doing this in the first place? And then now you're just you're just going into a sales conversation again, where you're talking about their goals, you're talking about their pain points, you're talking about why they want to do it, why your program, whatever, and you're just going to get them back on ship. And you're gonna, at the end of this call, once you've gone through that, they should be in the state where you can tell them something like, exactly. John, listen, I know everyone goes through like ups and downs. This is totally normal. If you, maybe lost some motivation, but I'm here to keep you back on track. And this is not something that's going to be easy. Okay. And I'm glad now that you're kind of, realizing this so we can keep you on track. So you're going to come in on Monday. Okay. And then you're going to re-anchor that. So it's not super difficult, but you just want to get them on the phone and understand sales. Cool. And then referrals. So turning clients into marketers. So most gym owners rely on passive referrals, waiting for clients to do their thing and hoping new people somehow show up. This is the wrong way to approach it. If you rely on clients to spread the word on their own without any structure, you'll slowly starve. Instead, we need to build an active referral system. Okay? So pretty straightforward. Tactic number 1 is use goal reviews to generate referrals. So starting with this tactic, we'll turn regular check-ins and goal reviews with clients into natural referral conversations without making them awkward or salesy. So every member gets a check-in, use that conversation to find out which lane they're in, and you respond accordingly. Okay? So happy you're winning, and they're like super in a good state. Okay? Then you're going to say, okay, listen, awesome, you achieved X result, you lost 30 pounds in however time frame. Do you know anyone else who could possibly, one of your friends who would not mind having the same result that you did? It may feel a little bit icky. That's totally okay. Like, you have to kind of get over that limiting belief, because at the end of the day, you're asking for a referral, and you can like tell them like, hey, like, I'm asking for a referral because you got such great success. Do you know anyone else who would love this? And if they've gotten success, then that speaks for itself. Okay, but if they're unhappy or they're neutral or whatever, then you're going to want to get them to that happier winning state. So check in with everyone, fix what's broken, get them to that happy state, and then that's your referral moment. So how to do it: review progress regularly, fix what's broken, celebrate what's working, and turn success into invitations. Who around you could use the same help? Anyone you'd want to bring with you next month? Getting people to, for example, like bring their friend is a great way to do that. Okay. Reward the behavior, not just the sign up. Repeat consistently, and host a friend group event every quarter. It's a great way to just get free clients. So if you run 50 check-ins and 20 clients are in the happy lane and half of them bring one friend, that's an extra 10 clients with zero cost to acquire a client. Costs $0. Okay, tactic number 2 is make referrals effortless. So most gyms complicate referrals with forms, rules, fine print, etc. You want the opposite, something members can share instantly and feel good about. So because the easier it is to share, the more people will do it. So easy to share frameworks is give one, get one. Give a friend a free week, get a recovery session. So you can even like do this where pretty much a good way to do this is you can make a little kind of gift card or like a piece of paper that's printed out that looks somewhat official to your gym. And it's like basically a coupon or a gift card, okay? And you're going to pretty much give the gift cards to your members, and you're going to say, hey, this is a free $50 or $100 credit for you to give to your clients or to your friends or people that you know or whatever, or family or whatever. And technically it's $100 gift card that they can use, but if they're coming in and you are selling them on, let's say, an $800 thing, or you're doing the stuff we did above with average order value, then now you're basically lowering your average order value by the price of the gift card to get X more. So basically you're spending no money to get a lot more. You're spending $0 to get a lot more. Okay? So you can use gift cards, and you can use gift cards for like give one, get one, like different sort of like friend referrals and stuff like that. Bring a buddy, like free, like you can make a gift card that says like free session if you bring a friend, like stuff like this you can get creative with just to get more people in, okay? The key is to make it easy to explain in one sentence, valuable enough to share, and repeatable. You don't want to do a gift card that's like $10. Do one that's at least 100 minimum, maximum 2, 3. And then at that point, everybody who gets a gift card is going to go and come to you, okay? Cool. So the referral flywheel is results, recognition, okay? That invitation, that can be done through, let's say, a gift card or you actually asking, okay? You're getting those people, and then you're just repeating it. So the thesis overall, getting to the end of this video. So once you put each of these tactics in place to maximize your average order value, frequency, retention, and referrals for your gym, your ads become exponentially more profitable, because now every dollar you spend doesn't just buy one lead or client. It now creates a chain, okay, reaction of clients that will spend more, stay longer, and bring others with them that will do the same. So if you're done with the churn and burn approach and you want to implement these tactics to start multiplying your advertising, then go down, book a call below in this video, and we will show you exactly how you can do this entire process for your gym. And as well, we help with top of funnel in terms of running ads, generating cold clients as well, and then obviously getting them into this chain. And just before I finish up, a lot of gym owners will just and a lot of just businesses I want to talk about in general are like focused on, I get a lead, I close the lead. And that's the sales cycle. But it goes a lot deeper than that, because there's a sales cycle after you get a client, and if they buy, and there's a sales cycle if you don't get a client, okay, because you can reactivate them. And with email, with SMS, with whatever. And there is, once a client buys, there is, like when I mean there's a sales cycle, you can extract more value, you can upsell, you can get referrals. So it's constantly branching out. And to think that if you can get a lead and close a lead, and that's the entirety of the cycle, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. Okay, so thanks for watching. Nonetheless, go down and book a call if you're a gym owner and you're making good money and you want us to implement something like this or help you get to the next level. You can do so below. Thanks for watching.